Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be doing my top favorite drugstore concealers. If you follow my channel, then you know I'm a drugstore hoe. As much as I love my Sephora, my Ulta, my high-end makeup, I still gotta say that drugstore makeup and affordable makeup in general just has my heart. Just because if I can spend less and get the same outcome that I would get with something that's expensive, I mean, why the heck not? Take that extra money and put it towards something else. I love makeup as much as the next person, but I'm just being honest, if I can get it for cheaper, I'm all about that life. Quick reference, I do have oily combination skin. I am definitely oily in my T-zone area and definitely more normal to dry on the outer perimeters of my face. That is definitely the overall situation that I have going on in my skin. If you don't know much about makeup and you're really just a beginner and you're really falling into makeup just now, or you're just trying to learn more about what concealers do, what concealers are. So basically when we use concealers, when we say anything about concealers, we just mean we're getting a product to conceal our face. When we say conceal, we want to hide redness, we want to hide blemishes, acne scars, dark spots, dark circles, anything of that nature. You want to hide it, you want to conceal. That is what you need a good concealer for. So when you are concealer shopping, you want to take certain things into consideration, like the consistency of the concealer. Do you want something that's really thick? Do you want something that's really thin? Do you want something to wear every day or something to wear just on occasion? So it's definitely things that you want to take into consideration when you're concealer shopping. If you are shopping for a concealer that is going to be used for highlighting purposes, a lot of times you want to make sure you are looking for something that is 2 to 3 shades lighter than your actual skin tone or your foundation. Just because it's not going to highlight or bring forward those points of your face unless it is much lighter than your actual skin. It sounds crazy to say you're going to be having something 3 shades lighter than you. You're going to be like, what are you talking about, Allis? I do not want to look like a ghost. Trust me, it is not going to be that way just because you want to bring forward parts of your face. For example, when you highlight your under eye area, which is what I have today, if you can see the under eyes definitely look brighter, and what that does is it conceals any darkness that I have under there, meanwhile still bringing it out and making me look very like sculpted and very, if you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. If you are not going to be using a concealer for highlighting purposes or anything of that nature, and you just want to use a concealer to just spot conceal any sort of pimples or any breakouts or anything that you might have on your face that you just want to spot conceal, but you do not want to put any foundation on over it or under it, you just want to use a concealer, you want to just keep that at 1 shade lighter than your skin, because if you go too light and you don't plan on using any foundation, then it's going to look crazy. Just putting it out there. So with that explanation, I just kind of wanted to ease it in for you guys if you are not too familiar with makeup and you just are falling into it now. Disclaimer, I'm gonna be using a lot of Maybelline because your girl likes Maybelline. It's definitely one of my favorite drugstore brands. It might not be my absolute favorite, but it's definitely up there, up at the tippity top of my list. So I am gonna be using a lot of their concealers. They all serve different purposes, I guess, if you want to put it that way. Different reasons, but they all play a very important part in my collection, and that is why I am showing all of them to you guys. The first concealer that I wanted to talk about is the Super Stay Better Skin Concealer by Maybelline. This one came out, I think it was last year, I'm not sure, but I love this concealer. They have a foundation that goes in conjunction with this line, but I gotta say I definitely use the concealer a lot more than the foundation. This concealer is a 2-in-1, so if you're looking for something that definitely corrects your skin tone complexion, if you have any redness or if you have any darkness that you need to conceal and correct, you can definitely use something like this. Instead of having to use like the bright green or the bright orange concealer, you can definitely use this because it has a built-in corrector in it, and it's also a concealer to hide any of your imperfections. You can get it at any drugstore for the nice and awesome price of $8. I mean, you can't get any better than that. Actually, you can get better than that, but this is a really good price, okay? This has a really nice doe foot applicator, which you can see here. It picks up a lot of product, so it's not like you're double dipping tons of times. I usually get enough product with 1 dip for each side, and that's usually good enough for me. It comes out nice and wet. That sounded gross. Ew. This is definitely my everyday concealer if you are looking for something that you can use every single day and it's not going to be uncomfortable. It's lightweight, it's easy to apply, extremely blendable, and it just goes with your everyday routine of makeup. Then I highly recommend this. This is definitely why I reach for it on an everyday basis, just because you don't have to like work really hard to get it to blend. It just blends so seamlessly and it just works. It's a very thin concealer. It's not heavy at all. It's extremely lightweight and it wears beautifully. So it's been out for a little while, so don't sleep on it. It's really, really, really good. This one has been out for a really long time, but I just love it and I continue to go back to it, and I forget about it for a little bit, but then I go back to it, and then I forget and I go back to it, and I just forget about it, and sometimes I'm like, why did I forget about you? Like, you're amazing. This is the LA Girl Pro Conceal HD Concealer. This is such a good staple concealer for my collection. I love this concealer so freaking much. I get mine in the shade Creamy Beige. This is a really, really popular shade. It's definitely like a very nice warm color, but it's very, very beautiful. They have a really nice color variety in their collection, which is definitely a plus. I love to see affordable brands come out with tons of colors just to suit so many different skin tones, because sometimes it can be really one-sided and you can see a lot of like just the average like light to medium, but they're calling it deep in the drugstore, which I don't really like. And this is what it looks like. It has a brush tip. And I gotta be honest, it isn't my favorite applicator. I do like the doe foot applicator a lot more than the brush tip, just because I do feel the brush tip is a little bit sloppy. Sometimes you don't see the color coming out, and then before you know it, it comes out and you have like a big blob of it on your face, and you kind of just have to figure out how you're gonna work with it. But I mean, I can work around it because it is a really, really good product. Definitely like a more medium to full coverage, just because it is that thicker consistency, but it's still really blendable. It's extremely comfortable, and it's also really affordable, so you can't go wrong with it. I have seen LA Girl in Walgreens, but in case you can't find it at your Walgreens, you can definitely get it on Amazon, you can get it on eBay, you can get it anywhere where they sell LA Girl. You can get it on the LA Girl website. I mean, this is a really good concealer, and this is only anywhere from like $2 to $4. The next concealer is also from Maybelline. Surprise, surprise. Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. This is in the old packaging. I know they did revamp their packaging, but I couldn't find my new one. You can see it's definitely toe up. It has almost no product in it, but I mean, I had to show you guys because it's just definitely like a staple for me. This concealer to me is definitely like a solid medium coverage. To me, my definition of a full coverage concealer is one that like by the second coat, that it's done. Like, I can't even see any of my freckles. And I mean, this doesn't do that for me. Maybe if I caked it on like that much, but I mean, doing a third coat of concealer to me is just like, nah girl, you're pushing it. So this concealer to me is definitely not full coverage. It's definitely a solid medium coverage, but it's very beautiful, very comfortable, and it does not look cakey at all. This is such a good price point. You can get it at any drugstore where they sell Maybelline from $7 to $8. This is another concealer that is great for everyday wear. I went through a point where this was the only concealer that I ever wore. It's not super thick, which is great. I don't like really, really thick concealers. I just feel like I can't work with them. If they're so thick to the point where they're uncomfortable, I just feel like I'm making a mess on my face. I feel like it's just not working. I feel like I have my reservations about those kind of concealers. So if I can find something that's thinner and has solid coverage, that to me is definitely a go. That's just what I like. Something that's comfortable, something that's blendable, something that is going to last a long time, and it's going to look really natural on my face, and also give me the coverage that I'm looking for. So this is definitely it. If you're looking for something from the drugstore that has a good price, not super thick, comfortable, blendable. I'm just repeating myself at this point, but this is a good concealer. Check it out if you haven't already. And yeah, this is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade Sand. This is another one from Maybelline. In contrary to what I just said about the Fit Me concealer, this one is actually definitely full coverage, like paint concealer. This is the Maybelline Master Conceal. Definitely a really, really full coverage concealer. Like, if you are looking for something that is going to cover your soul, you want this. What I love most about this concealer that I have a hard time finding in most full coverage, like super full coverage concealers, is that it is so blendable and it is so easy to apply, and it's not uncomfortable. Even though it is full coverage at like the initial application, it's not a full coverage that's uncomfortable, that's sticky, that's unblendable. It's definitely something that's easy to work with. I'm not gonna lie and tell you guys that I would use this every day, because I don't want to use anything that's super full coverage every day. But if you are looking for something like that, then you might want to look into something like this, because it is definitely going to be very full coverage. A little goes such a long way, and if you're trying to hide any sort of dark spots, any acne scarring, anything that you have on your face, you have to check this out, because I mean, it's definitely a great price, and it's just, I mean, it's just such a damn good concealer. Guys, highly recommend. You can get this concealer for $8 at any drugstore that sells Maybelline. The one I use is in the shade 30 Light Medium. If you guys watch my channel, then I'm sure this comes as a no-brainer to you, but the next concealer that I wanted to talk about is the NYX HD Concealer. This concealer loves me. I love it. We understand each other. I get mine in the shade Beige, and I love it so much. It reminds me of my high-end concealers, but then I remember this is only $5, and that makes me happy. This concealer is full coverage, but it is not uncomfortable at all. It's definitely, to me, more comfortable than the Master Conceal from Maybelline, and it is a little bit less full coverage, if that makes any sense. It's a little bit less pasty than that one. It's a little bit more runny, however, it's definitely full coverage. Like, it's your full coverage concealer from the drugstore. It's NYX, so you can find it in Target, you can find it in Ulta, you can find it on the NYX website. Anywhere that has NYX, you can find this bad boy for $5, and I'm not mad at it. It is such a good concealer. I get no flashback, even though it is full coverage. I forgot to say that with the Master Conceal. No flashback with that one either. I don't think there's anything I hate more than flashback. We've all been there. We've all had the ghostly face in a picture that we've been tagged on Facebook. We've all had it. We ain't here for that no more, okay? This has your average doe foot applicator, which I love. I've already said that tons of times here. But I just think it just makes it so easy for application. It doesn't look cakey. It's extremely blendable, wearable. I don't know that I'd wear it every day just because it is full coverage, and like I said earlier, I like to stay away from super full coverage on an everyday basis. I definitely go for the more natural, more like finger blending out the door type of thing. If I have to use a brush or a beauty blender, that becomes too much work. I got like 5 minutes in the morning to do something with my face, and I gotta make it work and get out the door. If it don't work in 5 minutes, it don't work at all. This is such a good concealer, you guys. It got a lot of hype when it first came out. It's still well deserving of the hype. It is such a good concealer, such a good price, so long lasting. I mean, you put this on, you set it with some powder, and you can tell that boy to take you swimming on the first date and you show him something. The last concealer that I wanted to talk about today is an oldie but a goodie. This has been around for a while. This is the Maybelline Age Rewind concealer, known as the Dark Circle Eraser. Get mine in the shade Neutralizer. This concealer is known to be great to conceal and hide your dark circles. If you are someone who wakes up every day with bags under your eyes or just that purple under eye area, you gotta try this out, alright? You just gotta try it out. It's such a good concealer for that. This is a solid medium to full coverage concealer. And I mean, you just can't go wrong with it. It's been in the market for, I want to say, ages at this point. And I mean, it just continues to be made. It's just because the people love it. And we got to give the people what they want. That just tells you on its own that it's a freaking great product. Because I'm sure that if it was shitty, they would have pulled it off the shelves a long time ago. It has a little bit of a moussey consistency, and I blame that on the sponge tip applicator just because it comes out a little bit like spongy looking, but once you blend it out, it's definitely comfortable, and it looks good. It blends really easily, and it's just perfect for every day. I mean, there's no creasing at all. There's no slipping with this concealer. If you are looking for something that is going to hide your blemishes and especially your dark circles, you want to use something like this. It's definitely good, and it does what it says it's going to do. It covers dark circles, and it covers and conceals beautifully. It typically goes for $8 anywhere where they sell Maybelline, so any drugstore. So that's it, you guys. That completes this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see any more of my drugstore favorites, let me know. I would be happy to do that for you guys. I really enjoyed sharing my favorite concealers with you guys. If you have any concealers that you love from the drugstore, or any concealers in general that you think I might have missed in this video, please drop them in the comments down below because I would love to know. And give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful or you enjoyed it. And if you have any recommendations for me, let me know because sometimes I don't know what to film, so it's really helpful to know what you guys want to see. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!